All right, everyone. Shalom, shalom. It's been a couple of weeks, but back again. All right, just want to say shalom, shalom. It's your brother Shama al giving all thanks to the Most High Yahweh and his beloved son Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Today is Monday, May 8th, and right now I just want to do a quick rant on this whole Jordan Neely incident. And my thoughts about the whole ordeal. I was on Dennis Sperling's show last night, on the panel, and I gave my thoughts about it. And um, most of the brothers on the panel, we pretty much share the same sentiment of the whole thing behind the Jordan Neely incident. The gentleman in New York that got choked out on the train. You know, just want to give my quick thoughts about it, and just just let you know where I stand about it, because this whole thing bothers me. It disturbs my spirit, and just want to give my take on what should have been done and what should be done. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, without any without holding on any further, here goes. It's a quick 7 points. If you're just joining the stream, please hit the like. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Um, if you enjoy the content, please like, share, and subscribe, and also, if possible, donate to the Cash App. Okay, so right now I got the count them 7 points that I'm gonna hit real quick in this rant about this whole thing with the Jordan Neely incident. Number one, first and foremost, I got called like I see it. What happened to him? That was straight murder. Period. There's no other way around it. It was murder. There's no other way there's no way in the world you could justify putting someone in a chokehold for 15 fucking minutes without letting go. There's no way in this world would that be justified. That was straight murder. First of all, the Caucasian, the Edomite that had that man in a chokehold. First of all, he's a military vet. He's a Marine. And guess what? For Marines, you are trained to kill. You are trained to kill. But I also got to say this. Marines and other military men of the military are also trained to know how to restrain as well. Because despite certain wars, the war in Iraq, the war of Afghanistan, you know what I'm saying, the Korean War, World War II, the Vietnam War, World War I, soldiers was trained to also kill, but also if they was to apprehend certain important figures, to know how to restrain them and bring them back alive. Perfect example, the war in Iraq. Well, all the stuff that was going on, it was a Puerto Rican brother, a so-called Puerto Rican brother, an Ephraimite brother, was the one that found Saddam Hussein that was hiding in a hole or hiding in a ditch. He's a military man, had a gun and everything. And guess what? He was able to show restraint to detain Saddam Hussein and bring him back alive and hand over to whether the U.S. government or the Iraqi government, whatever, or the Iraqi puppet government that that the U.S. might have set up, and They did what they did with him, and that was the end of it. But he was detained alive. So that means men in the military, they do know how to restrain themselves. You know what I'm saying? They do know how to just, restrain somebody, you know what I'm saying, without the use of lethal force. They know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, that go back to number one, that was straight murder. Put a man in a chokehold for 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, and then walk and then expected to walk away like nothing fucking happens. Get the fuck out of here. That was murder. And that man should be brought up on criminal charges and should be put behind bars. For the law enforcement agency that interviewed him and let him go, shame on you. The officers that interviewed and let him go, shame on you. Because anybody else that happened to, they'd have been behind bars. Come on, there's no way you're going to delete somebody and then, okay, off you go. No. If anything, they'd have been detained and put behind bars. And once all the facts came out, then, okay, it was self-defense, release him. Then he allowed to go home. Perfect example. The Spanish guy in that restaurant, that bodega in Hamilton Heights in Manhattan. And the dude came behind the counter and tried to assault him. Dude pulled out the blading wing, yeet, yeet, yeet. You know what I'm saying? Send that man to the upper room. But guess what? He was restrained behind bars until the police finished their investigation and found out, you know what, that was self-defense. Let him go. So the law enforcement that let this dude that choked this man out, let him go free after questioning, that's bullshit. What that man did was murder, and he deserved to be behind bars. That's one. Point number two. The person who held that the gentleman's hand, Jordan Neely's hands, and allowed that dude to choke him out, he deserved to be brought up on charges too. Dude was an accessory to a murder. You know what I'm saying? Or negligent homicide, however you want to spin it. He assisted in the killing of another man. He assisted in having a man lose his life. And while fucking Captain Commando had Jordan Neely in the chokehold for all that time, there's nothing part of him to tell him like, yo, get off of him. Okay, that's enough. Let him go. Let go. Blah blah blah. Nothing. He should be brought up on charges too. You know what I'm saying? He should be brought up on charges too, and not just him. All the other folks that was in that car that, you know what I'm saying, that didn't do anything. Because you witness a so-called Marine, thinking he motherfucking G.I. Joe, putting someone in the chokehold, for excessive amounts of time. First of all, rear naked choke, if applied correctly, like maybe less than 10 seconds, you could put somebody out. I think, was it like 6 seconds or something like that? At least maybe 6 seconds, you can put somebody down for that. Put somebody down with that. So 6 seconds to 15 minutes. That was excessive. And the fact that you held that man's hand down and allowed him to be choked out for that long, you're just as guilty. And you deserve to be behind bars as well. That's point number two. Point number three. And this is something that you black men need to understand. Understand this. Understand the mentality of these, of these paleface, of the pasty people. Understand the mentality of them. Many of them see New York City as you know, as like Mad Max in the Thunderdome. Don't get me wrong. Been in New York all my life. Yeah, there's a lot of crime here. Recently, yeah, there's been a lot of people wilding out on the subway system. I get that. But the way how these pasty people, these Edomites, that's pushing this narrative is that New York City is pretty much Mad Max in the Thunderdome. It's not. Sure, we have high crime, but it's a far cry from being a post-apocalyptic society. Far from that. And on top of that, the mentality of these pale faces, the mentality of these devils is that they see you, black man, automatically as a threat. They see you automatically as a thug. And that might be even if they see you wearing a three-piece suit, they just see you as a thug in a three-piece suit. So when they see you in regular street clothing, come on, you should already know what time it is. They already see you as a thug. And many of them, especially these ones that know a few martial arts, and these ones that know the ones that might be in the military and stuff, they want to be motherfucking G.I. Joe and fucking be able to, you know what I'm saying, put whatever techniques and holes that they know. They're dying, they're itching to put those holes, those submission holes. You know what I'm saying? The wrist holes and leg holes and stuff like that. They're itching to put those holes on you. Understand that. They're itching to put those techniques on you, especially the ones in these states that are able to carry. They're itching to pull out and shoot you. This is something you have to fucking understand. To be cognizant of the time that we're living in. And you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, listen, and I blame a lot of these conservative news channels about this, because they push this rhetoric. 15% of the population responsible for over 50% of the violent crime in the country, blah, blah, blah. So many of them really internalize that shit. And they could be walking down the street and they see you. You could be minding your business. You could be having your phone in one hand and your headphones on your head, and you could be listening to Scooby-Doo. They see you as one of the so-called the people that are responsible for 50% of the violent crime. And you know what I'm saying? So you have to understand that. So they really internalize that shit. So they see you as nothing as a thug, and any that know any martial arts, any combat training, or even a license to carry, they're itching to put those moves on you and delete you. This is something you have to understand, black man. And the sooner you understand it, and the sooner you know how to move, knowing that, the better off you'll be. Which leads to point number 4. You are a target. You are a fucking target. Again, these pale-faced devils, these Edomites, they really internalize this whole 13% is responsible for 50% of violent crime. They really internalize that shit. And again, many of them want to live out their fucking G.I. Joe fantasies, and to be able to take down a black man, to take out a black man. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to know how to move and know how to act, and you know what I'm saying, in the midst of that. I'm sorry, man. Like this whole thing pisses me off because, like, yeah, the gentleman, Jordan Neely, yeah, he had mental issues. Yeah, he was homeless for a long time, and yeah, he might be strung out on something. But what that man need was help, not a death sentence. Because if we're gonna do that, there are many homeless and mentally ill people across all races in New York City alone that deserve that same treatment. Do we really want to fucking go there? Do we really want to go there? So again, back to my main point, you black man, you need to understand you are seen as a threat. All these white radicals and white nationalists and these conservatives, some of these conservative talking points. Don't get me wrong, I'm a conservative myself, but as far as some of these radical conservatives, that push out, white supremacy. Let's keep it a grip. You understand what I'm saying? Push out white supremacy. And then a lot of those stations, they really pushing out this whole thing on, this they really pushing out the fear mongering image of the black man that we're nothing but violent beasts. And what makes it all fucked up is that it doesn't help with that when you have this whole thing in the news with a lot of young black men just straight wilding out. Like perfect example, the riots in Chicago. Most are blessed. I'm about to do a show about that right after I finish with this. You know what I'm saying? These young hooligans minding their business. These young hooligans is out there causing mischief, stealing cars. This whole Kia challenge, or these teenagers is stealing cars and shit. So when they, when these Edomites see that on the news, automatically they're gonna blanket and be like, "Oh, that's all you guys." So again, understand that you were seen as a threat and know how to move accordingly. Point number 5, black man, you should be more circumspect. This just ties into point number 3 and 4. Understand the mentality of these pasty people, and understand that you are a target, which means you should know how to be more circumspect, know how to act, know how to conduct yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, we are in a time of war. We're in a time of civil unrest. We're in a time of racial tension. This ain't the time, and I'm gonna say like this: this ain't the time to party. This ain't the time to be strung out on drugs. This ain't the time to getting plastered, getting high, getting twisted. And this definitely ain't the goddamn time to be tap dancing. This ain't that time. When you look around, you see pretty much the dawning, the how can I say it? Not the dawning, but like yeah, pretty much the dawn of war, both civil and international. On a global scale, there's war around us. All this tension happening is about to be a war, whether it's civil or it's a world war. This really ain't the time to be caught lacking. Which leads me to say this: A lot of you black men, it's time to start training. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother Dennis Sproul said on the show last night, black men, time to learn a martial art. Learn how to defend yourself. Learn how to defend yourself. Brothers in the state that you know how to carry, learn how to the pew pew. Learn how to do that to protect yourself from being a victim. Learn how to do that. Learn how to do the pew pew pew. Learn how to box. Learn how, you know what I'm saying? Mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga, karate. You know what I'm saying? Kyokushin, Shotokan, whatever. Tai Chi, learn Kung Fu, Wing Chun, something. Learn how to defend yourselves. Because again, like I said, going back to the previous couple points, some of these pasty dudes, they want to be able to live out their G.I. Joe fantasies. And they have you as their victim in mind. You know what I'm saying? They already have you as their selected victim. They already have you in mind as their victim. You do not want to be the victim of some pasty devil, some Edomite devil that thinks he's motherfucking G.I. Joe, that thinks he Captain Commando and shit. So, brothers, it's time. It's seriously time to learn how to defend yourself. Be cognizant of where you're at. In all circumstances. It's not the time to get drunk. Not the time to get high. In the high at your mind, you don't know where you at. You got to know how to conduct yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know when to wild out, know when not to. You got to understand, pretty much like what Yahushua said, to send you as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. You know what I'm saying? Now when Hamashiach Yahushua said that, he doesn't say just be a damn doormat and let people, run all over you and violate you. It's just saying that understand where you're at, be wise as a serpent, but if they ain't trying to hurt you, you shouldn't try to hurt them either. But if you're just trying to be, if you're harmless and someone wants to do bodily harm to you for whatever reason, whatever deranged reasons, you have every right to defend yourself. So that's something you need to understand. Black man, now's the time to be circumspect. This ain't the time to be the tap dancing, sambo, none of that. This ain't the time to get drunk and high. This ain't trying to get drunk. This ain't the time to get high. This ain't time to be, aloof or have your head in the clouds. There's so many things that's happening in this current time, and you need to be aware of the situation that you're in at all times. That's point 5. Point 6. This goes to you so-called conservatives out there. Me, I'm conservative just as much as the next person. Me, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And follow the Bible, follow the Most High. And if you know anything about people who follow the Most High, know that we are conservative in our values. So a lot of this extra liberal and left, Luciferian left nonsense that's being pushed right now, we're not with that stuff. Just like some of these secular conservatives. But here's my message to you guys. There shouldn't be a conservative on the internet or any news media that should be justifying that man's death at all. Because again, you got this whole thing. Because the thing that folks want to use, they want to use the fact that he's been arrested 44 times and was still released, and use that as justification you know, him dying, he got what he got. Again, like I said, if we're gonna play this card, there's many mentally ill people that's been in and out of jail in New York City or New York State alone of all different races that we could very easily apply those same, you know what I'm saying, parameters to. Do we really want to play this game? Homeless whites, homeless Hispanics, homeless Asians, drunk out of their mind. I mean, just Friday, was it Friday or was it I'm sorry, Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I was heading to work. There was an homeless Asian lady outside. Was ranting and raving. Now, what if she's one of those in and out of jail folks? Got arrested 15 times or something. She get an altercation with somebody and they end up putting her down. Are we willing to use the same parameters for her as well? Or those only apply to black men? Again, if anything, Jordan Neely should have been institutionalized, and that's it. And which is something that the government of New York City and New York State had failed him. And not just him, many mentally ill folks that really should not be on the streets at all. So any so-called conservative that call themselves, justifying his death just because he had 44 fucking arrests, you are a fucking embarrassment, man. And that goes for you black conservatives too. Because a lot of times you assholes like to tap dancing coon for these damn pale-faced devils. Because you're a damn conservative. I'm conservative as the day is fucking long. That man did not deserve to die. Him and all of us that's like him, that's out on the streets, ranting and raving, cool one day and then bugging out the next, they need to be institutionalized. So that they could get the help that they need, so they'd be able to function. I'm looking on the internet and I'm seeing in the comment section in the news, oh yeah, 44 red, blah, 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 blah. That don't mean shit. That do not mean shit. And if you was that much of a threat, then guess what? The justice system, when the process him and kept him in jail. They didn't. They released him. So how much of a threat was he really? Yeah, he might have committed petty crimes and small stuff, But again, how much of a threat was he really? And again, if he was that much of a fucking threat, that the New York City and New York State should have something where people like him could be institutionalized for an extended period of time so they could get the help that they need. Because again, like I said, if we're going to play this game that he's been arrested 44 times as justification that he should die, then we should apply those same parameters towards every mentally ill person in New York City, in New York State, and in the entire country, the United States. Everyone that's mentally ill and that has been in and out of jail. Let's apply those same parameters to them. For all different races, black, white, Asian, East Indian, Hispanic, Native American. So that when they get deleted, let's keep that same energy. If you're going to play the game more the way. Let's keep that same energy. Oh, Billy Bob from Georgia, he's been arrested 20 times and he has he had schizophrenia and he wasn't getting treated for it. So Sheriff Jamal put him down. Oh, he was mentally ill. Listen, Billy Bob was arrested 20 times. What you want him to do? So if you're gonna play this game, let's play it all the way. Let's apply it across all races, man or woman. And if you're not gonna do that, then that shouldn't be applied to Jordan Neely either. Because if we're gonna do if we're gonna have that double standard, that just shows your racism. That just shows you're racist, and that shows you're a piece of shit. You understand what I'm saying? So that's number 6. Last but not least, point number 7. I honestly believe there should be more money for mental patients, more money for for people that's mentally ill, and maybe like they should bring back asylums, long-term mental institutions. So allow some of these folks that's strung out on drugs or have schizophrenia and on the train, run them up, institutionalize those folks and help them get better, or keep them there until they get better. And if they're not, just keep them there. You know what I'm saying? They need to be put in a place where they are less danger to themselves and to other people. Not just let them run about, causing havoc and mischief until eventually they either hurt somebody, they either delete somebody or someone deletes them. And now everyone on the news, oh, you had mental illness. That song and dance is getting tiring. Now, allegedly, I think Governor Hochul and I think was it Mayor Adams, but I think it was Governor Hochul because she's the governor. Allegedly for the state budget, and I think for the budget for New York City, they claim to put out something for people with mental issues. Now, that was before this whole thing happened. Now that this thing happened, let's see how this is going to go. But again, they really need to be reopening asylums or institutions or long-stay institutions for people who have mental illnesses. Keep them off the streets so they be a less danger for themselves and for others. Now, allegedly, they supposedly passed it. Time will tell. We'll see how that's going to go. So that's just it. My 7 rants. My whole 7 points. Number 1, the choking was murder, flat out. Whether first degree, second degree, whatever, murder. That man need to be tried, convicted, and sentenced to prison, and not no bullshit time either. He's a fucking Marine. He knows how long it takes to put someone down with a chokehold. And New York City or New York State need to send a message that vigilantism shit is unacceptable. Because if he gets off, all that's going to do is encourage more white supremacists, more white people to live out their fucking G.I. Joe fantasies. Let's go back to my point number 5. Black men, you need to be circumspect at the times. But number 1, that choking was murder. Point number 2, the person who held his hands need to be convicted, tried and convicted too. Point number 3, you got to understand the mindset of these pasty people. Many of them see Mad Max, New York City as Mad Max at the Thunderdome. And many of them see you black men as nothing but thugs and criminals. You understand what I'm saying? They look on the news, all they see is viral videos of black people wilding out, rioting, looting, and they already got their preconceived notion of you. They already see you in the bad light. Number 4, understand that you are a target. Many of these Edomites that You know, when they see you, you know what I'm saying, that they have, you know, any many of these Edomites that might be training martial arts, might be might have military combat experience, or might, you know, be training and train in shooting. You know, might have legal carry, concealed carry. Many of them want to live out their sick and twisted GI Joe. You know what I'm saying? Dirty Harry. You know, last action hero. You know, many of them want to live out their fantasies on you. Understand that. You black man, you are a target. Understand the mentality. Number four, you are a target. Many of these people want to practice their GI Joe skills on you. Number five, black men trying to be more circumspect. Be aware of your surroundings. You should know the mindset of these people and know how to act accordingly. Learn how to train to defend yourself. Because many of them have no problem wanting to snap out your life just like that. Number six, there should be no fucking conservatives or nobody, no black person, period, that should be justifying that man's death. I don't give a fuck. That man could be arrested 100 times. All that shows that the city failed him. There should be more mental institutions for mentally ill people to keep them institutionalized so they don't be out harming people. And last but not least, number seven, the government, New York City and New York State and other states too, other metropolitan cities too. They should be institutionalized. They should be there should be more money allocated towards mental towards mental institutions to keep the mentally ill people there and give them the help that they need, so that they be less of a threat to themselves and to other people. So that's just it, man. I done ramble on long enough. It's your brother Sean Kasad signing off, saying shalom. Rest in peace, Jordan Neely.